Trudi Daniels, and this is 5 things you should know for the last week in July. And one of my favorite of the 5 things this week is the story of Shantoria Valentine. She's 23 and tried to rob a bank in Nebraska, but didn't get far. She says that there's a bomb, they give her the money, she heads out of the bank, she started to run and then couldn't do it. She was a little bit out of shape.
I'm too fat! I'm too fat!
Witnesses say she would shuffle for a little while, and then she would run, and then she would shuffle a little more, and finally just collapsed in the parking lot. The next story comes from the Ann Arbor Plastic Surgery Center, where they put up a billboard that had 2 little muffins and said, "Get rid of your muffin top." That made some people angry enough to go out and vandalize the sign, writing "You're beautiful" on it and smiley faces on the muffins. This was one of my favorites too, the Dulcolax ad. It was in the New York Daily News. Apparently, Dulcolax, the laxative company, made a little cartoon of little cartoon pieces of duty with little curly heads, and they were all sitting around in what appears to be an intestine, the very lower part, you know, where the porthole is, waiting to get out, counting down the days and crossing them off their list. The commercial probably will never run on any sort of US TV, but it was a big hit in Hong Kong, where people really liked the curly-headed little poo people waiting in their prison of poo. The Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, they had to cancel their Southern accent correction exercises because the staff were insulted.
If Albert Einstein had a really harsh Southern accent, no one would have listened to him. He would have been up there saying, "Hey! A equals MC squared!" People would be going like, "Shut up, you redneck! Come on, man, I'm serious!"
They decided they were going to try to give people lessons so that they didn't speak in Southern accents anymore, because there's a tendency for people to think, well, let Bill Burr tell you.
Anytime I'm imitating a moron, I always do it in a Southern accent. I don't need to be here, right? I go fishing.
The Panty Bomber. He was my favorite story of the week because he apparently tried to wear his underwear, the exploding underwear, for 2 weeks before he boarded the plane that he was going to explode over Detroit. It didn't work out. Curses the Panty Bomber was foiled because apparently wearing for 2 weeks a pair of underwear that were rigged with explosives moistened the explosives with his funk down there, and he just fizzled and his junk caught fire when he eventually tried to detonate the plane. I'm Trudi Daniels, and that's 5 things you should know.